Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Father. I don't know whether I am being clear enough.
Yes, can hear you.
I want to thank God, first of all, for the gift of life and making it possible for all of us to assemble and listen to the teaching from the throne of God. My teaching today basically is going to be the topic from the man's point of view, that is, approaching it from a man's view. Because I have been able to find out that sexual satisfaction is primarily depending on what the men are able to do to satisfy their partners. Because most of us men have the challenge of knowing what to do to when it comes to sexual intimacy, satisfaction, and intervention. Am I being heard? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
All right.
No,
Now,
you cut off for some seconds. Yeah, there was no continuity in your last statements.
yes. But try and use your divine sense to connect the whole thing because I wouldn't know where I have cut off. I'm trying to look for a better reception area where everybody can be hearing me. So ask God to connect you from where I stopped before and where I started again. There will be that connection through Christ our Lord. Can we say amen to that?
Amen.
Good. Now, I divided this presentation in such a way for us to understand. I may not have references, but I want to approach it in a raw form for us to understand fully what we are saying. First is the preparation for sexual intimacy. Without preparation, you will not be able to get satisfaction. What I mean by this is that you need to prepare the mind of your spouse. And when you are preparing the mind of your spouse, you ultimately too will also be preparing your own. Like we can use such words as you tell your spouse, I will want to visit your Jerusalem tonight. She will understand that you want to have intimacy with her. I want to visit your Jerusalem tonight. Or I want to see your burning bush. Then the female too, on their own part, can also use words like if they are having the desire to have sex, they can use such words like, I want your rod to come and divide my Red Sea. You know, during the time of the Israelites, Moses used the rod to divide the Red Sea. So the thing in between the men's leg can also be likened to Moses' rod. Or they may say too, come and taste my potpourri and see if it is sweet. So these words always put us on, making us prepare so that we'll be ready for whatever action that is going to take place in the evening or whatever time that we feel that is convenient. You know, in the Nigerian setup, couples always like to have intimacy in the night, maybe because of work schedule or because of business or because of whatever thing that they feel. So it is used in the evenings or in the night when they are always free. Now, after these preparations have been done, then the next thing is the need for us to have a foreplay. This is the most important part of sexual intimacy. Without foreplay, whatever thing that you are doing is null and void. You cannot have satisfaction. I have the story of a carpenter. You know, carpenters, when they get their wood, they cut it to shape. Then the next thing is they will use the nail, use the hammer on top of the nail so that they will drive the nail inside the wood. It is not their business whether the wood likes the nail or likes the heating of the nail inside the wood. And that is what most men do. How do they do that? They just come in when they have their desire. They just, madam, come. I want to. They just pounce on their woman and they start having intimacy or sex with them, you know. And once they are through, they get off and they get away. They are not concerned whether their woman likes it or whether their spouse likes it, whether they have satisfaction. They are more or less concerned with their own satisfaction. And that is not advisable for couples at all. It is not advisable. Rather, it kills relationships. It kills marriages. We should always take note of that. Rather, I would suggest that we use the bricklayer story. The bricklayer story is, you know, the bricklayer, when he wants to build or he wants to set up a wall or he wants to do anything that has to do with cement and the sand mixed together and the block, he will first of all use his trowel, clear the floor of where he's going to set the block. He will clear it and make sure that there's no depth. Then after clearing, he will now use this mixed cement and lay it on that floor, lay it properly, using the trowel to guide it so that there will be no spill. And after that, he will now lay the blocks. And when he lay the blocks, he will now use a rope to tie at the end of one block to the end of the other side of the block. And he will now bend down and view it. If any block is not in alignment, is not touching the rope, he will go to that particular block and reset it for it to touch the rope. And he will go back again, view it again, unless and until all the blocks are aligned in straight form, no one not being disaligned. That is now when he will now still go further and use a plumb. Use a plumb to plumb the blocks and see whether the head and the bottom of the blocks are in alignment. So he will do in each of the blocks. After doing that, being satisfied, he will now start using the cement to start chalking the blocks together, so that at the end of the day, it will result to a fine work. Now, in relationship, use the bricklayer's format. First of all, what we mean by foreplay is you touch your spouse, touch the body, try to see that she is aroused. It will take a time. It will take some minutes, and that is why I call it a project. Sexual intimacy is regarded as a project. Now, while you are touching her, you will be looking for what I call sexual weak point. Women's sexual weak point varies from woman to woman. There are some. The sexual weak point is once you touch their hair, you know, they will feel aroused, to have the desire, and all those kind of a thing. Now, let me tell you a story to buttress what I'm trying to say. There was a young man who came complaining that he seems not to be having sexual satisfaction. The spouse does not have sexual satisfaction. That whenever they have this sexual intimacy, the woman will just lie down like a log of wood. It will be as it was in the beginning, is now, and never shall it continue to be, word without head. Once you are through, you can come down. So I asked the young man, do you know the sexual weak point of your spouse? He feigned some surprise. It's like a word he has never heard before. So I now advised him, said, okay, what you do is, both of you should walk to a supermarket where they sell yogurt or ice cream. When you get back home, ask her to go and have a bath. And after bath, she should not towel herself. She should just come out. And when she comes out, lying on the bed, pour that ice cream or that yogurt over her, from her head to the heel of her leg. No, use your hand to spread it. Then at the end of the day, after spreading it, use your tongue to start licking that ice cream or yogurt you poured on her. While you are doing that, take note that if at any point of any part of her body you are licking and she squeaks or she shakes, then know that that is her sexual weak point. And this my young man carried out what I advised him to do. Then at the end of the day, brothers and sisters, do you know the sexual weak point of this woman? The sexual weak point of this woman is at the sole of her feet. It is amazing. It is surprising. When he licked those ice cream or yogurt and got to the sole of her feet, she squeaks, she shakes, she twined her body, and the young man will go up again to her legs and come back. And at the end of the day, like what I told her, if a woman, you touch her sexual weak point for 2 minutes maximum, when you touch her vagina will be wet. That is a sign that she is ready to receive whatever thing that you want to do. So, essential part of the touching, even if you did not carry out this thing, because it can be strenuous for some of us, especially those of us that are more matured adults, do the necking, do the kissing. A lot of men don't kiss their wives, especially during intimacy. They don't. Do the touching, do the kissing, do the necking. Now, you can kiss the back of her ear. You can even put your tongue inside her ear lobes and use your tongue to tickle it. You can kiss the back of her neck. I hope I'm trying to connect. So if you do that, these are the ways of trying to find an arousal. Touch, play with her nipples, kiss her back of the ear, kissing her neck, combing her wilderness. What I mean by combing her wilderness is that some spouses, they like to have pubic hair in their private part. Use your hand to comb it, touch it, either browsing it. Let me use the modern language. You browse the hair. But like some two who always have to shave their pubic hair, it becomes a wilderness. You can wander through the wilderness, wander the top, the side of her vagina, under her vagina, between her legs, the walls, that is the walls of the legs, touch it slightly, so that at the end of the day, while you are doing this, you may be hearing some slight moaning from her, all those kind of little noise. It shows that what you are doing, that is the only way that she can respond to it. But meanwhile, while you are doing all these things, don't forget communication. Little, slight communications with her. So that is the need for foreplay. Now, when this foreplay has been completed, we now go to the next one, which is the project proper. What is the project proper? That is the intimacy, the sex. That is where, first of all, men, how many of you know when your woman menstrual period starts? You don't know. You need to know when the women menstrual period starts. I will recommend that you get this book, Love and Life, by Reverend Sister Maxwell. Kindly go through it, especially the area that has to do with the charts. You can help your spouse to maintain her chart. Make photocopies or copies of those charts, one for each month. Know when the menstrual period starts. Then it will get to a point where we call the ovulation period. This ovulation period spans 5 days. 2 days going up. The third day at the peak. The last 2 days coming down. This is a period you can cash in. A period you can have intimacy or sex that she will be satisfied, because within this period, she will have a craving for you. She will have a desire for her to have sex with her spouse, with her husband, as the case may be. And this is a period that you see the women, their bodily changes or sexual behavioral attitude is always they always show this idea of getting close to their man, finding ways to have sex, as the case may be. So you must know her ovulation period and cash in on the opportunity of the 5 days, especially during the peak. There's also absolute need for oral communication during intercourse. For instance, my dear, or whatever name that you call her, do you like it? Are you enjoying it? Is this style okay with you? You want it faster or slowly? Do you need to change style? See, most women no longer believe in the missionary style. The missionary style is gradually being outdated. There are other styles that can be used from the back, the one you call the doggy, or the one you call the monkey shadow, or you have the one you call the pin mouth, or the one you call, there are various names to it. So those are the styles you can use. But during this period, let it be a period like question and answer period for you to know the gauge and the tempo of the activity that is being engaged on. You try to know if she's the kind of person that is responsive, because sex, intimacy, it needs to be responsive. It is not one party's responsibility. It is both party responsibility. Then after the project proper, we will now go to the next part of it, which is, let's go on. Father, the next slide, Father, please. Do you show appreciation after sex? That is a question I want all the men to ask themselves and answer themselves. Do you show appreciation to your spouse? Thank you. You made me feel like a man. In fact, this is interesting. Oh, I love what you have just done. My body has come down. Thank you, my dear. God bless you. You are too sweet. You are sweeter than the last one, the last period. What did you add to your vagina? In fact, this one is so enticing, so tantalizing. Find ways that will show appreciation for what had just taken place. In appreciating your spouse, you are making her feel that she is valuable to you. During this period of showing appreciation, you also see that there will be a response. She can tell you thank you. She can also use other forms of showing appreciation to you. You make me feel like a woman. That kind of a thing. And that will also boost your ego. Showing appreciation to your spouse during intimacy boosts her ego, makes her feel valuable, and makes her feel that she's an integral part of your life. That there is no need, that she's giving you whatever thing that is needed or wanted during sex, that you wouldn't look at another woman, or you would not make you to go outside and get what you are getting from her. Now, showing this appreciation is very good. Then, let me touch on this issue of menopause, sex after menopause. Menopause is always a period that women, they don't look forward to it. They don't pray for it. But menopause is something that happens naturally. It does not have a particular age. I think the averagely in this country, Nigeria, menopause starts at the age of 40. What we mean by menopause is cessation of period. Your spouse does not experience menstrual period anymore. It has stopped. And once it stops, it is for life. Yeah, you may be able to look for one medication or medical treatment to try to see if she can continue. If she continues, that is what they call in medical terms, I think something amenorrhea or something like that, temporal cessation of period. But once it stops, it has stopped. And this also affects her sexual life. You'll find out that during this period, it is always difficult to have intercourse, satisfy your spouse, and it needs patience in the area of sex. You don't just need to be in a hurry. If before menopause, that the total period of engagement is, let's say, 1 hour, during menopause, it lasts more than 1 hour. You can have 1 hour, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 45 minutes, or probably 2 hours, depending on her sexual health and her body health. Then intercourse takes longer period before arriving at the mountain. All of you know what I mean by arriving at the mountain. When you are having sex with your spouse, you will arrive at the mountain. That is when you released and when she too released. But please, men, let us try as much as possible that whenever we are having intercourse, let it be that both of us releases at the same time. That is a wonderful intimacy that the woman can never forget. It's always a pleasurable period when you release your sperm and she release her. I don't know what these health consultants. I think Mrs. Fidelia Nobo can help me later to tell me the name. What the women release during sexual intercourse. Once both of you do that and do it at the same time, arriving at the mountain peak at the same time, it is very, very undescribable. The pleasure there cannot be quantified. Then, during this period of menopause, having sexual intimacy, it can also cause pains. It causes pains because there's this usual dryness in their vagina of those women who are in their menopause period. There's always this vagina, and penetration can always be very difficult. I want to recommend that you use a lubricant, rub it on your rod and on her so that the penetration will be easier. So that is why I would rather recommend Johnson and Johnson baby oil. It is harmless. It is a harmless oil, and it's not too expensive. Just very little quantity that is needed. So you'll find out that a bottle of Johnson and Johnson baby oil can last you for months if used properly. It can even last you up to 6 months, as the case may be. And it also depends on how regular you have this intimacy. Then, have intercourse during her happy mood, because during that period, more hormones are released in her system. Women, you can't have sexual intimacy with a woman that is not happy. You have to make her happy. She has to be in a happy mood for her to enjoy what both of you will be doing. So, but when she's happy, you can always culminate it with sexual intercourse. Maybe her birthday, maybe her children's graduation, or maybe promotion, or one thing or the other that she's excited and happy. Always cap it, that kind of a thing. Then always compliment her looks, sexual prowess, compliments make her feel very sexy. You must always compliment your spouse, no matter her age. It is not only when she is young that she's beautiful. She still remains beautiful, even at 60. She still remains sexy, even at 65. She still, always compliment her bobs, her bum bum, her backside, her walking, and all those kind of things, her eyes, the way she made her hair, all these things. You see, to get a woman is always a very little way. Let me give you an example. There was a man, or there is a man, that during the wife's birthday, he presented the wife with a brand new car, tear rubber. The woman accepted the car and told the husband, "You scored 1%. The man said 1% out of 100. Said, okay. The following year, during her birthday, the man presented a completed building, well furnished, handed over the keys. The woman said 1%. The man was like, what again am I going to do to this woman for her to increase my marks? But because the man seems to be a very busy man during this period of presenting a car, presenting a building, within a short period after those incidents, the man seems to be less busy. He now spends more time with the wife. Take note of the word T-I-M-E, time. Women, wives, our spouses, they so much appreciate the time spent with them, quality time spent with them. They always are proud of it. So within this period of presentation of car and the building, the man now had more time to spend with the woman. Unfortunately, on her birthday, the man forgot. By the time he remembered, he ran out. The stores were closed. The last one was almost closed in when he now grabbed the door. Please, what do you have? We look around, almost everything that is in the store is already in the house. The man now bought a rose flower, came back home, hid it behind his back, and there was like, happy birthday to you, happy birthday. The woman was like, what is he going to present this time? And oh, sorry, my dear, my love, my angel, my whatever. Take this rose flower as a sign of my being happy for you, celebrating your birthday. Lo and behold, the woman hugged the husband and said, you scored 100%. Now, this analogy I have given, is it that the house is not expensive or the car is not expensive more than the rose flower? It is the time. So what I'm trying to say is that what gets into our spouses to make them happy is very, very minimal. Just little things can make them happy. Maybe she's in the kitchen preparing food and you just walked into the kitchen and you slightly smack her bum bum, or you ask her, my dear, what is on the fire? What are you cooking? She tells you, and that kind of a thing. So having intercourse during a happy mood makes things work better. Compliment her looks, then never mention the issue of her being in a menopause period. Never. I said again, never. Remind her that she's in a menopause period, or even telling her she's in a menopause period, or anything that has to do with her menopause period. Even when the attendant health issues that comes along with menopause period, like flashes. What I mean by flashes is that for those of us who have not experienced it, flashes, you see them a little time, they are feeling cold. And after some few seconds or minutes, they are hot. That kind of a thing. Don't ever say, it is because you are in a menopause, that is why you have. No. No area. Don't. Accept it. Take it like that as your own cross. So never remind her or tell her she's in a menopause. It breaks their emotional feelings. So, to the next slide. Now, the important tool, the most important tool, the most expensive tool, the most tool that is close to us we can use, but we don't use it, is the clitoris. It is an important tool in the execution of this project, the clitoris. We are not in a biology class, neither are we in a health reproductive class. But if you don't know what the clitoris is, go and Google it. Let me use the word of my brother. Go and verify what clitoris is. It will help you. The clitoris, the down part of the woman where the vagina is so much important that if used effectively, it can quickly arouse a woman, and if it is not used effectively, there will be no arousal. Let me say here that the clitoris has averagely 10,280 nerve fibers. Oh, I'm being told to round up. I've spoken for 30 minutes. Sorry. I'll round up now. So let us take note of that. I just pray that there will be a replay of this presentation. So quickly, let us go to the next. The next slide. The next is sexual interventions. Well, interventions that can help our sexual life, good oral communication before sexual intercourse, during the sexual intercourse, and after the intercourse. There will be an emotional regulation. We'll have to regulate our desire, our nervous system response, and our relationship patterns. I'm trying to rush this because of our time. I have less few minutes to go. So on our own time, we can go through it in details. Then after the sexual interventions, we now have what we call the strategies to use in enhancing these interventions. You should know the safe period. You should know the unsafe period. You should know unwanted touch. There can be places you can touch on your partner he doesn't want, either in the public or in private. Then there are some also places you also want to touch. You may need to seek a subtle permission for you to touch. So let us take note of these strategies. If we use it, it can be very effective. Then after these strategies, the next thing that I want us to look at is sexual dysfunction. Things that makes sexual intercourse or sexual intimacy not to be desirous. Lack of desire, lack of arousal, pain during sex, and lack of orgasm. If there's no orgasm, it is nothing. If you have pain during sex, it is also not advisable. If there is no arousal and there is no desire for you to have sex, sexual dysfunction. I just pray that if Father can make it possible to send these slides to us all for us to have time to go through it one after the other. Then after the sexual dysfunction, the next one I want us to look at is the responses that we also should look at for during intimacy. There should be a desire, there must be an arousal, there must be an orgasm, and there must be a resolution that has to do with having this intimacy, a resolution that has to do that it is one man, one knife, one man, one land, one man, one wife. All those resolutions, having the resolution to have satisfaction during your intercourse and satisfying your spouse. Then, after the sexual responses, we are getting close to the conclusion of this finding the G spot. G spot means Grafenberg. G for Grafenberg spot. This spot was discovered by a German scientist. It is a spot that is very, very essential. Grafenberg happens to be a renowned gynecologist who discovered the spot. So your ability to find the G spot of your partner can increase sexual pleasure. The G spot is an erogenous zone inside the vagina. It is just about 1 centimeter deep inside the vagina. Some say if you find it, it is bumpy. Others say that your partner will have the urge to urinate when touched because the G spot is right under the bladder of your spouse. So make sure that while you are also looking for her weak point, try as much as possible to know her G spot. It is very, very important. So, my dear brothers, the next slide will, let's go to, so in conclusion, 1, take time to study your partner's sexual behavior so as to get the best out of it. Try your best to satisfy your spouse sexually, and you too will be satisfied, and both of you will be happy. Thank you very much, and God bless you.